Yes, I had to do that. You know, I had to do that. So, peace to the family. Glad we are here. Today, I'm going to talk about the solar eclipse from a purely astrological point of view. I'm going to deal with sidereal astrology, but with a Western slant. And I'm going to try to break down what I feel the solar eclipse represents based upon my study of astrology. What you'll notice is that people, because it's a solar eclipse, people now have the terminology in their mouths and they have particular phrasings and sayings about what the solar eclipse is, what it isn't, so forth and so on. But obviously, you hip to this channel, meaning that we talk about astrology all the time. So, of course, the solar eclipse is an astrological event, 364 days or however, whenever things are, not, what is that word? Popularized or giving it all of this dynamite energy towards, solar eclipse or Mercury retrograde and this, that, and the third, otherwise people don't even care about astrology, but because we care about it every day, all the time, every time I get on here talking about astrology, whether, something crazy is happening or something very normal is happening, but let's just talk about it and let's deal with the actual background of it. I'm not going to present this information for advanced people. I'm going to present this information to which if you never heard astrology before. So in this slide, I'll just kind of give an overview. I'll just kind of talk about the things for which I will be referencing throughout this video so we don't get lost. And of course, be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and share this video throughout the internet. Listen to this video with your bae. Listen to this video with your children. This video is going to be hella PG. So hella is probably the worst I'll get on this actual video, but we're going to keep this for everybody. Okay. And when you reference astrology, you really want to deal with it from a basic, foundational, fundamental point of view. And this is really important for understanding astrology as a whole, because even the most complex astrological formations, complex astrological ideas actually are only complex because they're dealing with the basic energies times 10, times 5, subtract 3, subtract 4, so forth and so on. But you just have multiplications, addition, subtraction, division of basic, primary, fundamental energies. And those basic primal fundamental energies is the sun and the moon. We wake up during the day, we go to sleep at the night, unless we are prostitutes, crack dealers, so forth and so forth. And I said I was going to keep it PG, but here I go. All right. So the sun and the moon is really what we do during the day and what we do during the night. It is our conscious mind. It is our subconscious mind. It's the basic foundational principles of life. Okay. North Node, this is what represents a solar eclipse. So when the sun and the moon is conjunct the North Node, this happens every single year, right? This is what has happened when we call a annular solar eclipse. And in our charts, we have the North Node position. And this North Node is a powerful position because it represents where we are going. So let's backtrack. The sun represents expression. The moon represents our subconscious mind. The North Node represents a material reality. So, of course, when we discuss solar eclipses, we discuss new moons. These are times to set intentions. And what do we say all the time? If you do not set intentions for yourself, that means that somebody else will set intentions for you. So it's very important to take this energy and honor it for what it is, because this energy is in Gemini, which represents, if you look at the Latin translation for Gemini, it is twin. So to basically surmise that, when we are born with a twin. And since in regular, everyday, normal conversation, this twin is not referenced, that creates a shadow aspect to where we think that we are just this human individual and we do not have a soul. but encoded within the astrology is that reality. Encoded in the reality of Gemini is the reality that we have a twin soul. So when we have a solar eclipse in Gemini, then that represents the ability to create from this actual perspective through contemplation on this simple reality. And I say all of this to say that if you pay attention to the news, if you pay attention to external realities, then you are missing the boat, you're missing the train, you're missing the plane, you're missing the bus, you're missing your ride, you're missing your Uber. You get the point. So this is really much a contemplative, intention setting energy, to whereas you cannot intend your life. Like you can intend your life as much as you want to, basically, is what I'm trying to say. There is no hold back. There is no pull back or no blockage to your actual modality to manifest as you will. And so this actual solar eclipse takes place at the I said this, I was pronouncing it earlier and I had it good, but let's try it again. Mirgashira Nakshatra, and it's also conjunct the asteroid Vesta. Okay, we'll talk about the Mirgashira Nakshatra and we'll discuss Vesta, and we'll also discuss why this is a powerful spiritual energy, and this is why everything that happens externally is trying to pull you from this powerful energy. And of course, we'll talk about the aspects that is conjuncting or conspiring to bring about this actual manifestation, to bring about this actual change. Because always know that following a solar eclipse is a lunar eclipse. So the solar eclipse is intentions times 10. The lunar eclipse is manifestations times 10. And if you are not programming your life, then somebody else is programming it for you. Okay? And so somebody is calling. Give me 1 second. So the solar eclipse being square Mars, Mars being a planet of action, and Neptune, the planet of spiritual development. It like I said, when we deal with astrology, we take basic fundamental ideas and concepts. You take those basic fundamental concepts, and depending on if you have a conjunction, a square, a sextile, a trine, a quincunx, a semi-sextile, however you want to mathematical equate two planets, right? Or two particular energies, that creates a sum total of energy. So when you have the solar eclipse conjunct the North Node, that's one sum total. And this square is now a division or a subtraction of what needs to take place. And once you deduce this energy, then you have a different sum. See, the difference between a square and a trine is that a square is a subtraction. A trine is an addition, but to subtract something doesn't mean that we're losing. We could ultimately gain if we just simply understand what we need to reduce. And overall, when you're dealing with the solar eclipse, you want to reduce everything. You want to reduce yourself to mere awareness. And what do you want to be aware of? Since we are in the planet or the constellation of Gemini, we want to be aware of our soul. We want to be aware of our twin. So these are the things that we'll talk about in this actual presentation. And, let's just get into it. So first things first, we want to deal with the tangible and intangible constellations. So whatever constellation a celestial activity takes place, this represents a tangible reality or an intangible reality. So we have the sun conjunct the moon in the energy of Gemini. Gemini is air. Air represents intangibility. So does intangibility mean that it's nothing? Absolutely not, because some of our most prized possessions are those which are intangible: our drive, our love, our ability to think, our intelligence, our emotional intelligence, so forth and so on. All of these things are intangible, but these things are vital to our survival or our thriving in the society. So when the sun and moon is conjunct in Gemini, this represents an intangible reality. And since we are dealing with an intangible reality, we're getting more into occult think spaces, meaning that the average human being really at the core of them does not understand how much power it is in simply understanding that they have a twin soul. So they study astrology, they study numerology, they study tarot, they study all of these things. They study mathematics, coding, geometry, philosophy, psychology, religion, poetry, art, all of these things, right? But it doesn't mean anything if you live your whole entire life not crossing the threshold of Gemini. So when we look at the whole entire planet, right? Billions of people who do not understand this fundamental reality. Because the majority of people are in churches or in government or in societies that externalize this God principle. But within this conversation, within the occult conversation, the reality is that God is within you. And so I'm referencing this because this could be two different energies. Gemini is an ability to tap into a level of genius, but is also a level of madness and depression because the lack of awareness of the soul as a primary fundamental premise to your intangible reality. And if it's not being taught to you constantly, daily, you will forget it and fall victim to external psychological operations. So, and it doesn't matter, we can sit here. I say it doesn't matter, right? You got to follow the trend. But what does matter is your relationship to your soul, because that will defy all logic. It will defy all blockages. However, when you do not have this and you're trying to deal with this energy, you may feel quote unquote oppressed. You might feel quote unquote like a slave. But you have to understand that these narratives and these ideologies are being fed to you. The type of dinner that I'm serving today is the dinner that you are self-fulfilling. You are a self-fulfilling prophecy once you intend your life from a powerful aspect. And so let me just deal with the actual moon being Apogee and creating this solar ring of fire. So we have to look at it from an esoteric point of view. If the moon is your subconscious mind and it gets in front of the sun, and it happens during the day, or wherever it's at, it's going to be during the day. So it might not be in America, it might be nighttime. But say, for instance, in South Africa, it will be the daytime and the moon will conjunct the sun. When this happens, the moon now takes over, right? It is now the coronation. It is now the ability to reign supreme. So we have to really do the esoteric to understand the moon. The moon happens when we are sleeping. So when we are sleeping, we are dreaming, we are flying, we are in other realms, we are making love to each other, we are doing all types of things in the astral realm. And this is in a realm or in an idea that doesn't exist in the actual physical sun solar energy. However, when the moon gets in front of it, the lunar takes place. So all of your inner realities, all of your subconscious programming is now taking center stage. So I say all of that to say, have you been subconscious programming yourself? Have you been maintaining the cycles of the moon by working your manipulating the matrix book, understanding that this is a waning moon process? It's time to rid yourself of all things that don't serve your advancement. And once you actually deal with this principle of following the waning moon, you will understand that you will take control of your subconscious mind. And I say all of this to say that this is not normal conversation. This isn't a thing that people do all the time, right? So this is now a point in time where we have the ability to shed all previous beliefs and activate to levels beyond our physical. It is actually that dream life state. Shout out to Dream Wise, right? This dream is now becoming a reality. But say, for instance, you are constantly feeding your subconscious mind nightmares. I don't have enough money for the rent. My baby daddy ain't shit. My kids really need to sit down. I can't stand it here. I don't have no friends. I'm this, that, and the third. I'm that, and the this, right? Then this is your subconscious mind programming, and this is what you'll have to deal with when you deal with the solar eclipse. However, it can all be vanquished from now until the solar eclipse by simply contemplating on that which is more powerful than any president, any government, any law enforcement. It is your actual contemplation of your higher self. It is your basic awareness of the three supernal energies. And from this, we are able to connect and to speak from a perspective that we might not even hold personally, but we can identify a particular divinity within the probing of ourselves. And of course, it's not simply, oh, I'm deep, I'm meditating on myself. What is the action that precedes the meditation? Because this is now the solar eclipse squared to Mars, the planet of action. Are you able to act on this reality? Right? And it's not a contrived thing. It's not a point of contention or a point of argument. It's a point of pure spiritual action that don't have no argument. It's straight up dominion. It's straight up sovereignty. It's straight up the 400-year contract is over that you signed with my ancestors, and now I get to take control. However, most people is not on this wave. Most people is celebrating Juneteenth, programmed, giving you rituals. Most people is fighting for Black Lives Matter. Most people is advocating for, COVID-19. And all of these particular psychological operations that have you in a perpetual state of fear, victimhood, whatever the case may be. However, imagine they can't organize 1 million people in the realms of servitude and slavery, but it's more powerful if you get 2 people, right? 2 people versus 1 million people. If those 2 people know that they are sovereign, know that they are spirit led, know that they have a higher self, and then begin to operate on the level of being superior beings because they are united in masculine and feminine principles, then that is God. Okay. That's God right there. And with God is the power to create. So everything that I do, everything that I manifest is because I'm able to rest within my physical principle and authenticity. And my feminine principle is able to rest within her masculine principle with authenticity. But this is also the sun and moon conjunct in Gemini. Because within my relationship, we also know that there's a spiritual force over it. Because I'm a man and I get a lot of attention from beautiful women that probably would drop their panties if I asked. Okay. And not bragging because I'm not indulging in none of the sweet vagine. I'm more or less focused in on my wife and my family. And I say that to say there's a spiritual energy. There's a Gemini twin soul that rests over my energy that's not going to allow me to be, Slicky Rick. It won't allow me to be that because the God is within my relationship. So you got to understand when you in a relationship and there's a spiritual entity over that relationship, there's another level of trust. There's another level of power. There's another level of creation. And if I'm hitting up $40 back page models, I'm ruining my whole entire dharmic plan blueprint for my life. And that's major. So men with the infidelity and you have a spiritual connection, it's time to honor that spiritual connection above all things. And this is more of the solar eclipse energy of how we can actually activate our God principle as opposed to talking about it, dreaming about it, wishing about it, protesting about it, marching about it. Okay. So the moon is conjunct, and of course we'll be tapping in because I want to hear where people are at, and I will just cut this solar eclipse part and just present this for the people who not on the live, so you can just listen to the actual conversation. But we here all day, so if you got any questions, be sure to take your notes and be sure to tap in later when I open up the phone lines. So the moon is conjunct the Mirgashira Nakshatra, and it represents the head of a deer, but it also references the asteroid of Vesta. In the asteroid of Vesta, in the energy of the white deer, it can be two energies. It could be the energy of awareness. It could be the energy of innocence. It could be the energy of gentle, non-evasive energy, or it could be the energy of flightiness. It could be the energy of, I ain't really about the shit that I was saying 6 months ago. So you just have to be aware, and then we have to center in on the energy of single parenthood, and not look at it from a victim mentality, because I am a product of single parenting, and I'm not championing single parenting because I raised my children and with my wife. However, there is a spiritual component to single parenting, which can be found in the Egyptian deity Anuket, but we'll talk about that later. But as you can see, one of the key themes is illegitimate children, multiple relationships. So as human beings, as soul-led beings, period, point blank, you have incarnated in many different lifetimes and developed spiritual soul ties with many different energies throughout the planet, throughout lifetimes, throughout the cosmos. So it's not really logical to isolate yourself in one energy if you are a spiritual being, because society will program you into thinking that you need one person. And because you agree with that programming, you start to seek that one person. And now I just said that I can't be having sex with $40 prostitutes, but it is an actual system. There is an actual honesty and authenticity to being united with soulmates. And it does not mean that you have to have sex with them. You could develop businesses with these people. You could have friendships with these people, mentorships, all things and beyond. And you can possibly have sexual relationships with these people if everybody is dharmically okay with the situation and everybody is honest from the foreground. Okay. Generally what will happen is you will lie, and that's when shit get crazy. So learning how to be honest about your actual truth is how you actually deal with this solar eclipse energy moving forward, because it's more or less centered on pleasure. What does D-Ray say all of the time? I know if you haven't bought the shirt yet, you should already have the shirt. It part of your collection, man. Feeling good is the work. So the idea of feeling good might lie in other energies. And y'all just have to be mature enough as couples to have these conversations, or else this will create shadow and this will create karma. When we are striving to create dharma, we are striving to create everything being perfect. And the idea is that if you do not say or intend for a perfect existence, then somebody else is going to say, there's no such thing as perfection. You don't have to understand. You don't have to have a perfect life. You have to struggle. You have to be a slave, and this, that, and the third, programs that you accept. So understanding this energy where you could actually rely in the power of spirituality. You can actually rely in the power of awareness, or you can get high and take hard drugs and drink heavy liquor and, feel negative for, multiple relationships, baby daddy not there, so forth and so on. And I get it, because my mom, actually raised me for the most part by herself. 99.999% of my reason for existence is due to my mother and my mother alone. So with that being said, there has to be a spiritual component. When I look at life and I look at my friends and we have these kind of conversations towards, Yeah, he was around. Now he gone. Yeah, he just out in the wind, and I just got my kids and this like that. And I'm just like, well, shit, that's crazy. I don't, maybe you be wanting some advice for me, and I just be like, I just can't put my mindset in, that, it's something that I don't think about. It's a non-negotiable. My children come with me. I was just telling my wife this morning, April 16th, I was just at work. It was a normal day. And my baby's, my children's mother's cousin had called me, like just out the blue. And he's like, Randa passed away. My children's mother, she passed away. And so it's about 10 a.m. I'll go park my car at the spot at my job, because I was a truck driver. I go park my truck and just pick my kids up. And they just been with me. I just was talking to my wife about that this morning. Like, I don't know, just one day, my children was just with me and they was just stuck with me. And that was just what it was going to be for life, because I'm not presenting myself as a perfect, stand-up guy that holds his family down and shit like that. Because I was struggling with baby mama drama like anybody was, and it wasn't the worst situation, but it got really, really, really bad for me, after, child's mother passed away. I'm a single father and I got these two little children, no advice, no guidance, really no help either. It was so wild that the only people that ever gave me help was like the people that I worked with. And they showed me like the response of when people like die, because a lot of my close family and friends, they were like, sorry to hear that. Talk to you later type of energy. But my job brought me food, support, that type of thing, money, that type of shit, like real shit that you need when you really stuck. And I went through kind of like a robotic phase, a darkness, like a real dark night of the soul. I was telling my wife earlier, the moment from when I lost my child's mother until I met my wife, it was like, I don't remember the days. Like, I can't pinpoint one day or one activity that I've done, that I did. And I know I had my children, but it just seemed like that part of me didn't exist until I met my wife and she began to heal me. So I say all of this to say that the new moon is conjunct Vesta. Now, Vesta ties into the Vestial Virgins. Now, the Vestial Virgins are a Roman interpretatio of Greek energy known as Hestia. Now, Hestia is a Greek interpretatio of the Egyptian energy of Anuket. Now, Anuket represents this spiritual component of society. Now, if you want to look at a real life example of Anuket or the Vestal Virgins, you will look at the three founding members of Black Lives Matter. Okay. Now, these women are lesbians, and I'm not saying that derogatory at all. I'm just pointing out their virginistic aspect, because a lesbian doesn't have sex with men. They only have sex with women, thus which would make them ideally virgins, and they operate as a triad, and they get shit accomplished in society. I dare you to have a public platform, a large public platform, and shit on Black Lives Matter, and then say 2 weeks later you be in an elevated or a better position. It's just not happening. Meaning that when these actual energies come together, they make things happen. And we might not rationalize that because we might not agree with Black Lives Matter, but we have to understand that mythology is not talking about the past, it's actually talking about the present. It's just the truth is always stranger than fiction. Okay, so when we look at mythology, we might look at the Vestial Virgins like this is an interesting story, but that's just some mythology shit. But basically what they're saying with the Black Lives Matter movement, whether George Soros funded it, whether you agree with his principles, his ideologies, what it's basically saying though, right, is the black woman is God. Because these three women combined and collected and have more influence than anybody on the planet, right? If every major corporation, whether it's funded or a psyop or net, whatever you say, just like when Bobby Hemmett used to talk about, it's just like when Bobby Hemmett used to talk about Barack Obama, and he was like, he ain't gonna do nothing for us, but the symbol of having a black president is just good enough, right? And so the symbol of having these three women being the founders of the most influential movement that we've ever seen, right? We've never seen anything like this in our lifetime. So therefore, there's an actual power that the Vestial virgins, they don't just help. They don't even have a concept of self, because they are tapped into the primary womb of consciousness. So the energy of Anuket then represents the energy of the Nile. It also represents the cowrie shell, and the cowrie shell represents a vagina or the black womb of creation. So when we reference what we can do with this solar eclipse, we can tap in to the energy of Vesta. Now, the energy of Vesta was a single woman. Yet the single woman was the most powerful energy in Roman society. Why is that? Right? Because most women had relationships, they had children, and this was literally by law. So the rarity of a single woman evoked power and represented the divine feminine, meaning that before life was even created, women existed, right? The divine feminine existed. It is an intangible reality. And so if you are in a position where you feel like you need a man and don't got one, then it must be something within you that you need to access. And from this powerful point, you can magnetize a man if you want one, or don't magnetize a man. But you have to not be a victim based upon society. One of the things that we have to remember, shout out to Dreamwise, life is not happening to you, it is happening for you. And if there is anything existential that was going to raise you up, then that's going to be the mistake that you need to correct, figure it out within you, and then magnetize and manifest from this position. But you don't need anybody if you have awareness, if you have a connection to the divine feminine. And this is more tied into the solar eclipse being conjunct to Vesta, but Vesta is not Vesta. Vesta is not Hestia. Vesta is Anuket, the personification of the Nile River, the personification of the divine womb of consciousness and creation. And we can bear witness to this because we see the three Vestial virgins of the Black Lives Matter movement getting shit done. Whether you like them or not, whether you agree with them or not, you can't deny that they are getting shit done. And this is the Vestial energy, and I'm going to be real with you as a man and dealing with my friends. Some of y'all be dealing with niggas that got dirty dick energy from the beginning. So why would your ancestors even allow dirty dick energy to just reside in your womb? Therefore, it must be a cleansing, a catharsis of negative energy, you to tap into your primal energy and know that you can magnetize any type of energy that you want, right? Agree or disagree? Yeah. So retrogrades that are also affecting the solar eclipse are as follows. We have Mercury in Gemini, which represents an intangible reality tied to the mental, which we talked about earlier. So Mercury being exalted in Gemini is the personification of the twin soul. If we have the awareness of The last video was contemplation. A simple contemplation of the Ishu energy opens the gateway to all of the Orishas, all of the realms of creation. But you just have to understand that you don't need shit. Like, you really have to primally ground it within yourself, strong clenched fist, and understand that your soul predates your human existence. So if you are not tapped into that, you are going about it backwards. So contemplate, retrograde, right? React to a particular truth found within yourself and not sit in the realms of mental illness, because the things that I point out about these retrogrades might not be for you, but I guarantee you it's for everybody around you and what they're struggling with, because they have no awareness of the energies. So Venus in Taurus is the physical crisis. So we see this within mortgage. They opening the courts back up. So when they say they opening up the cities, they're basically talking about the courts. So, you know, the paperwork is now being sent out for people getting evicted and things of that nature. Once again, probably not talking about you, but talking about people that you care about, meaning that going into July, you're going to have to think about opening up your home. Or else people that you know and love is going to really suffer. So for the people who have space, for the people who have energy, and for the people that have time, and the people that have resources to keep your energy in balance, to keep you in the reign of manifestation, you have to develop an energy of philanthropy. Because one can say, well, Hood, nothing's bad is happening to me. I'm actually doing great cabbage patching throughout this whole universe. Like, everything is perfect. But you do not exist in a vacuum. You do not exist in this world by yourself. You have energies connected to your soul that when they're not doing right, you're not doing right. And if you don't connect those dots through your ministry or through your business or through your philanthropy, you will be pulled down into a space of the circle of time, or rota, or the wheel of fortune, or luck. You can have good luck like a motherfucker, but you can also have bad luck. Let's not forget. So when we intend, we don't want to half-ass intend. We have to really intend from the holistic space. We talked to Jazz earlier, and we were telling Jazz that if you ever notice, like when I do a reading or I reference like a conversation I have, I always reference we, because it's me and my soul that's always talking. When I do readings, I'm not shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to figure it out. My conscious mind struggles. You know, I got dyslexia. I can't see halfway. You know, I'm toe up. However, when I contemplate my soul, it's an actual change of vibration. I'm able to write books. I'm able to love my family. I'm able to manifest, so forth and so on. So it's always we. But we were talking to Jazz, and we were telling him that money is for yourself. Prosperity is for everyone. So this is a key. If you're trying to manifest more money, that's all well and good. But the easier way is to manifest prosperity, because when you look out for all of the collection, but then we reference Mars, right? Once we reference Mars, then we know that we have to put action into thinking about others. And say, for instance, you have a plan or idea that can help other people. People are going to support that idea. And when they support that idea, they are supporting you. You might have to rewind that part and listen to it a couple times, but it's so simple, but you'll make it hard. Okay, Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter are all retrograde in the first decan of Capricorn. So what I call this is postmodern reconstruction. With the Juneteenth energy, the slavery energy, they're even trying to bring back hangings and things of that nature. Because this is what they did during the Reconstruction time. After quote unquote slavery was ended, they entered into what is the Reconstruction time, where they reconstructed our history and had us go into schools that taught us our history, right? That's a hell of a oxymoron for you, but it was done at a mass level. And now we have to now relearn ourselves. We have to put different constructions in, and we have to understand the postmodern idea. The postmodern idea is saying that you can create whatever world, reality, realm that you want, but you have to understand that you have that power to do so. And the key to understanding this power really lies in the energy of this solar eclipse in Gemini, because everybody is not gonna get it. Hopefully you're on this live getting it and it's making sense, right? So solar eclipse tips. First and foremost, don't overthink shit. Dots. If you see your mind running in loops, what if she do this? What if she catch me cheating? What if I get caught with this unemployment? I don't feel right getting $600 a week extra from this, and I'm still selling weed on the side. What if they find out if I'm selling weed? Oh God, oh God, oh God. I'm stressed out. Anxiety. I ain't seen my kids. Oh God, oh God. I ain't seen my mama. I ain't even talked to my mama. Oh my God, I'm just a fuck up. Oh. Stop. Contemplate your soul, catharsize yourself. I just made that word up. It felt good. Catharsize yourself. Get rid of it all. Get rid of every worry. Get rid of every anxiety, because the future is destined by you. Now, you can agree with me or not. You can say, well, I have no control. I heard in another video where I ain't supposed to place my intentions. I'm just supposed to just go with the flow. Okay, go with the flow. Go with the protest flow if you want, go with the march flow if you want, like whatever flow you want to go with it. See where go with the flow got your that's a digress. Let me digress. See where go with the flow got your ass, right? Fuck go with the flow. Create the flow. Be the way, right? But don't overthink it. Take a moment to clear and connect. Catharsize yourself, right? Get rid of any aspect, because whether it's man shit, family shit, woman shit, religion shit, life shit, it can all go, because there's only one thing: love. The love that you have for yourself times 1,000,000. And once you times that to 1,000,000, you start loving your girl, loving your mama, loving your daddy, so forth and so on. But you do not get to that point. You do not get to that point trying to figure out, am I man enough? She said I wasn't man enough, so I'm at the gym, hood. I'm doing push-ups. I'm gonna be a man, and I'm man enough. 1, 2, 3. All right, where the donuts at? All right, I'm not feminine enough. Look, man, you can come to my crib with some jogging pants and a baseball cap, t-shirt, holes in it. We don't care, right? That's some women competition shit. Let that go, right? Don't overthink shit. Clear yourself of any of these ideologized perspectives. Oh, I need to be black. I need to tap into my white side. I need to tap into my Chinese side. My native. Come on, man. Just be spiritual. And that ends all discussion with race, gender, so forth and so on. And from there, you begin to utilize the love principle, and you begin to create your life, because the reduction that the square presents is that once you act from a spiritual development place, you are changing your reality. That's the square, okay? You can say, I'm not gonna be successful, and not do shit to become successful, and that's the manifestation. You could also say, I'm going to be successful. My business is gonna pop. I'm going to gross $10,000 a day selling products. I'm going to manifest $1 million in revenue. I'm going to manifest the dream girl of my life. She gonna be everything that I want her to be, and she gonna, play with, nibble on my ears like I want to, right? You can manifest all of this. You just gotta get rid of the shit. So utilizing the principle of action and imagination to utilize your spiritual connection is key. Give me 1 second. And finally, do not spend attention on energies outside of yourself. Contemplate the twin soul. Why do I say contemplate the twin soul? Because Gemini, if you say Gemini, what do Gemini mean? Gemini is Latin for twin. What is they talking about? I wasn't born with no twin. I was born by myself. Everybody got a twin. Everybody got a twin soul. Spend this solar eclipse contemplating on the twin soul of Gemini until you are compelled to act. That is the square to Neptune. That is the square to Mars. You contemplate with the intention to act from the spiritual point of view. Case closed, right? Easy peasy. So, if you like this video and it was interesting, you're like, damn, that was on point. That made sense. So forth and so on. Everything that I referenced was just basic astrology. And maybe you want to be able to talk about astrology one day. Well, I actually have a course. The link is in the description. I want to thank Spirit Doula for giving me the opportunity to share my gifts, share my abilities. And with this course, I'm just going to tell everybody everything that I know and give it to you in a way that it wasn't gotten to me. It was given to me all scrambled, mumbo jumbo. I had to research, spend thousands of dollars in books, spend thousands of hours in studying. And now for probably in little or 2 hours, you can know everything that I know in the realms of basic astrology, but it does not stop there. In the second course, we get to talk more about how to become an astrologer. We're going to be discussing the houses. We're going to be discussing aspects. And when you leave the course, you'll know this shit. So it's perfectly fine to say, I don't know shit about astrology. I don't know nothing about aspects. I don't know nothing about nothing, hood. That's perfectly fine. After this course, you're going to know. How I know you're going to know? Because it's quizzes, it's tests, it's exams to make sure that you know. And if you don't pass, you don't get to go on, you know? So we're going to make sure that you know you're able to retain. Of course, I'm available for any type of assistance or guidance with learning the basics of astrology and overall the advanced parts of astrology so you can become an astrologer yourself. I take care of my family based upon my knowledge for astrology. So maybe you spend a particular amount on this course. And then say, for instance, you do 10 readings for $100 a piece. That's now all the money that you made in the course plus some. And you're not going to leave this course without the full knowledge of becoming an astrologer. That's my word. I'll stick with you until you get it. You know, don't worry if you don't got it now. You will get it in the future. It's for everybody. It's not no advanced shit. It's basic fundamental understandings and then basic geometry and arithmetic, basically. So from there, I also have a course coming this Saturday. Now, as you know, the Alchemic Academic, which is my personal brand, this is something that we do once a month. This month, we are talking about numbers, the minor arcana. I'm giving it up. Why do I always see 1111? What do 1111 mean? I seen 357. What do this mean, hood? You gonna leave this class, you're not gonna have that question. And of course, the Saturday class is almost full. Sign up for the Sunday class. There's still some seats for Saturday. So be sure to click the link in the description. I don't want you to miss out. And of course, you can miss out if you want to catch the recording. But if you got live questions and answers towards your numbers, what I'm providing is a number chart. So after this, you're going to get a PDF file of a blank number chart and you're going to know how to fill it in. So when you see 1111, you already know what it is. Instead of using numbers to program you didn't use your numbers to program your reality and your creation. Everything in our life, everything in our world is come down to numbers. And our lack of knowledge on numbers is why we could particularly suffer or why we could particularly thrive. Of course, we'll be discussing how to create a magical square. I got the Kubera DJ Screw channel in full effect. I got some additional information that I'm only sharing for the class. And of course, you can purchase the class once it's over for the same price, but you might want to book now. So you might have like questions and things of that nature. And of course, we had a live question and answer. So that class is going down Saturday and Sunday. Sign up now or, don't don't sign up. I don't care. And of course, I'm shipping out books directly. So click the link in the description if you want a book now. You heard the Spirit Doula talk about manipulating the matrix. You heard Hancho and Shireen talk about manipulating the matrix. You heard me talk about it. You can go on my Instagram and click the highlight of workbooks and see all of the plenty of people who bought my books, this first, so forth and whatever. But my books is not for me. That's why I'm gonna perpetually sell my book, because they don't help me when you buy my book. You know, it might help me a little bit financially, but my goal to get these books out to everybody I know and to begin to work with these books, because I want you to have the power in your hands. In the back of Manipulating the Matrix book, it says written by you, right? Because you have the power to write your life. Everything that I ever created, anything that I ever manifested, was from my ability to write things down, period, point blank. I want to sell 100 books this week, done. I want to make $10,000 this month, done. I want, you know, so forth and so on. Once I write it down, it manifests. Okay, so I just want to give this power to you. I'm just always sharing things that work for me, because I was an ancient nigga not too long ago, but through spiritual development, but through contemplation of my higher soul, I have been delivered. And so I just want that all for you guys. All of the things that I talked about, the links are in the description. So if you want to join Spiritual Ascension University, do so now. If you want to sign up for the class for Saturday and Sunday, do so now, because I'm sending out the emails tonight. And you just want to get preview on all the details on how this whole thing is going down. So with that all being said, I am now going to tap in with you guys, but before I tap in, I'm gonna let Breezo run one more time as I set up the Zoom, and real quick I had that link, and you know, we just going to conversate one time. So here go Breezo, y'all.